said. I don't know if he's lying or if he's completely shielded from the reality because he's in a different bubble than you. Do you not understand that? Do you think he's sitting around watching news reports of children having their limbs blown off?
What are we doing here? What is the point of getting this upset at Bernie's? Get this mad at Ben Shapiro.
As an American Jew, how can you continue to condone the actions of the Israeli government, condoned by the US government, in the Gaza Strip, where over 40,000 people have died, including Palestinians and Israelis, and large numbers of children and civilians? How can you continue to condone those actions?
Okay, hold on. I want to correct you. I don't just condone the actions of the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli government. I celebrate and laud them.
So disgusting.
I'm not morally apathetic about what's happening.
Ben Shapiro spoke at UCLA yesterday and...
Yeah, I think he meant to say laud. Basically he praises them.
As you just saw, literally cheered on Israel's genocide in Gaza. And I don't use that word lightly. I say it because I mean it, and I want to show you why I believe that that's what's going on in Gaza. Now, after saying that he lauded the IDF's actions, he then went on to claim that they've taken extensive measures to prevent civilian deaths despite over 42,000 Palestinians that have been killed in the Gaza Strip alone. Take a look.
They've chosen not to surrender. Instead, they spent billions of dollars building terror tunnels below civilian areas. It is not incumbent on the Israeli government to surrender just because terrorists are evil enough to hide behind civilians. The Israeli government has gone through such extraordinary efforts not to kill civilians that it has managed the best civilian to terrorist kill ratio in the history of urban warfare, and it is not close. Israel, with their complete air superiority, certainly would have had the ability to commit full-scale human atrocities had they wanted to. They have complete air superiority. They could have used F-35s and simply turned the place into a parking lot. They did not, in fact, do that. They moved vast scales of population. In fact, believe it or not, there have been more births in the Gaza Strip since the beginning of this war than there have been deaths in the Gaza Strip from the war itself. That is a very poor way to conduct a genocide. Israel is being more meticulous in the conduct of this war than any army in human history, and certainly than the United States Army in its vast role in the history of urban combat. That is uncontested.
I'm going to be generous, and instead of saying there were a lot of lies in that statement, I'm going to say that he is misinformed about what the reality is. Now, just quickly going through the numbers.
Okay, so we were going to get to the clip where, someone tweeted about that and was obviously pointing out that, like, we don't need to be generous at all to someone engaging in that kind of vile rhetoric. There's no point in it whatsoever. I think it's absolutely abhorrent and disgusting that he is promoting these kind of things. And there's nothing to be said outside of, he's well aware that he has the resources. He's a fucking rich ass public speaker, multi-millionaire, has media empires. They have the resources to be able to look this up, to see what every single, at this point, human rights organization is sounding the alarm on when it comes to this current genocide. You can pick the Amnesty International, the UN Human Rights Council, the Commission on Human Rights, all these different reports that have been coming out, the thousands upon thousands of scholars who have also penned written letters, or doctors who have also penned and written letters specifically indicating that this is in fact a genocide. It's something like, at the end of the day, he is intentionally doing propaganda to promote and normalize a genocide that has taken place
in Gaza, and it is difficult to get updated numbers because so many people have been slaughtered there, including journalists. But the exact death toll numbers the kill ratios are nearly impossible to figure out at the moment or gauge because of the utter destruction of Gaza's medical system and infrastructure overall. There are also bodies still buried under the rubble, so those individuals haven't even been counted in the death toll. But there's no doubt that Israel has taken out thousands of civilians. The United Nations says most of Gaza's 42,000 people who have been killed are women and children. A September analysis from Oxfam, for instance, found that more women and children have been killed in Gaza by the Israeli military over the past year than the equivalent period of any other conflict over the past 2 decades. Conservative figures show that more than 6,000 women and 11,000 children were killed in Gaza by the Israeli military over the last 12 months. Data from 2004 to 2021 on direct conflict deaths from the Small Arms Survey estimates that the highest number of women killed in a single year was over 2,600 in Iraq in 2016. So, referring to the IDF as the most moral army, as you literally have American doctors coming back from Gaza to report that they kept seeing children as young as 5 with gunshot wounds to their heads, is a bit much. I'll put it that way. Go ahead.
I will not be generous. I will be accurate. He's definitely lying. He's lying on purpose because he thinks killing Palestinians is no big deal. He thinks the 1,200 Israeli lives lost on October 7th are the most precious lives that have ever existed on planet Earth. But the 42,000 people that Israel has slaughtered in Gaza, and we're gonna show you some tape in a second of what's actually happening in Gaza so you can see for yourself what a liar Ben Shapiro is. So he's pretending that they have the best civilian to military kill ratio. The exact opposite is true. They have the worst civilian to military kill ratio, worse than the terrorists, worse than any other conflict. They've killed more journalists than any other conflict. Do you know that they've killed more journalists, 128 of them, than any conflict since 1992? Why? Because
yeah, Cenk did awesome here. Absolutely, yeah, and I understand that like everyone is trying their best right now because we all feel hopeless and disgusted both with society and ourselves. Witnessing what is taking place and feeling again like there's none of us are doing enough. From the comfort of our homes in the West to witness what is taking place using a lot of our technology, weaponry, armament supplies, all that kind of shit. So I understand that everyone is trying to, in their best way, do whatever they can. Is it direct action? Is it canvassing? Is it protesting? Is it attending rallies? Is it calling your politicians? Is it trying to stop weapon shipments from being exported and shipped off to Israel? Things like that. Everyone is within their own capacity, and if you have a platform, you're constantly thinking, how can I convince more people? Like we were just watching Dr. Gabor Mate go on to Theo Von and do an excellent job of humanized Palestinians to the point that it brought Theo Von to tears. Everyone is working out their own strategy. I don't see any benefit whatsoever unless it's going to open a door to Ben Shapiro hosting you on a show where you're going to have an opportunity to maybe reach some of his fans and get them to see some of it. Like maybe if you could actually show pictures or footage or something and just so the complete and utter destruction of Gaza, maybe then there might be a couple people who otherwise are buying into his nonstop propaganda and lies consistently to maybe start to change their minds. But outside of that, there's no way, I don't see any benefit to being like he's misinformed or something to that effect. To her credit, I mean, she does point out the reality of the situation, which this is a genocide. These are the statistics. This is the horrifying reality for children who live in that region of the world. And then I think Cenk does a really, really good job here of being like, fuck that. Like he's a liar. These are lies. This is not reality, and these are lies serving a fucking genocide.
They don't want you to see the videos we're about to show you, because if you saw how they're butchering the Palestinians, you would not believe the outrageous lies and propaganda by people like Ben Shapiro, who go, "Oh, we're the most moral army. Who cares if?"
So anyways, I wanted to also show this because this is what's, I guess, creating the controversy online. There is an account. It's a small account, and it's already been put on blast by TYT, so I'm not trying to, obviously put them on more blast. But yeah, it's got under 500 followers called Bernie's Cat. And Bernie's Cat made a tweet that tagged Anna Kasparian, saying, Anna Kasparian giving Ben fucking Shapiro a pass and saying he's not informed about Gaza's genocide is a bigger what the fuck of the story. Good thing at least Cenk didn't lie. Oh my God, I used to be a TYT member. And that led to this moment.
Something right now. Bernie's Cat just wrote in on Twitter and accused me of giving Ben Shapiro a pass. How the F was that a pass? How was that a pass? How was delusional. No, most deranged crap on Twitter. Seriously, I don't understand. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What the hell do I need to do? Tell me right now.
Yeah, no, look.
No, people are deranged. You are deranged. You're deranged. How the
like, if I went on Twitter right now, if I clicked on the notifications thing right now, there's gonna be a lot of people who have tagged me in some bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I know that for a fact, you know? It's gonna be fucking filth. It's gonna be like, hey, Lance, I heard you and that you support terrorism and blah, 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 and you've been funding Hamas secretly. Something nonsensical like that. And yeah, there's also gonna be bullshit coming from, I'm sure, leftists who are gonna be like, hey, Lance, I really think that it was inappropriate for you to, interact with this person, blah, 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 or why are you still making content with them? There's gonna be a lot. A lot of people are literally, especially with really small accounts, like screaming into the void. By virtue of having a large account on that platform, it means that there's a lot of people, or even having like a successful career streaming or doing podcasting or doing YouTube videos, there's going to be a lot of people who will send you, again, bullshit. It's got to be one of those things where like, what are you going to choose to get mad at? You know, like I'm really, really upset at the fact that Ethan Klein put me on blast with that tweet I made, being upset about a whole bunch of, I'd say, some of the biggest and most prominent Muslim and Arab American streamers getting banned off the Twitch platform, especially right before an election when a lot of their livelihoods and coverage of that election are now directly going to be impacted by this for 30 days. When again, in relation to what Asmongold did, getting 14 days for using extremely racist, extremely vile language, you know, dehumanizing Palestinians, saying that they were from an inferior culture, saying they deserved their genocide. The comparison between the two seems obscene to me. And so yeah, that being put on blast for, sure, I'll get, noticeably upset by that. A random, 100 or 200 follower account that at the time, I think it had 7 likes, by the way. It's increased now since the story's gone kind of viral, but 7 likes, to lose your shit over that. Like, what are we doing here? What is the point of getting this upset at Bernie's? Get this mad at Ben fucking Shapiro. Get this angry at Ben fucking, go all angry and scream and yell and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You monster. You absolute monster. Like at a time now when they are being forcibly starved, when you are seeing video footage of people being forcibly moved from one section to the other again, who have been starved for over a year, the PTSD, the trauma, the bombings, the schools, the hospitals, the massacre after massacre after massacre, witnessing people burning fucking alive with IV like lines coming out of their arms because the hospitals or the tents are lit on fire, shit like that. Yeah, get really fucking mad at Ben Shapiro. But Bernie's fucking cat. Like, okay.
hell did I give Ben Shapiro a pass? I was the one who chose to do that story. We did that story, and I don't know how much more aggressive we could be in condemning him in that story. Deranged. I don't know what else you want from me. Jesus Christ. I can't take it anymore. Go ahead, Cenk, sorry.
Just as we did a story about, ostensibly, I don't know, maybe they are, maybe they're not, I don't know what they are, writes in and saying, you just saw our story on Ben Shapiro. You thought that we were too light on Ben Shapiro, that Anna was too light on Ben Shapiro? You get checked into a hospital, man.
I was too easy on him because I didn't flat out say he was lying. Okay, he's lying. I don't know what's in his head. I don't know if he's lying or if he's completely shielded from the reality because he's in a different bubble than you. Do you not understand that? Do you think he's sitting around watching news reports of children having their limbs blown off? Do you think?
Yeah, well then fuck him. Either he is intentionally lying and just refuses to tell the truth about this matter. He's in such a deeply entrenched right-wing bubble, but he has a massive fucking audience. He reaches millions of people. What he says and does matters. That in relation to Bernie's, why are you so much angrier at Bernie's cat, the little teeny Twitter account over this? Who again, this could have been something that like you see and you're like, fucking. Yeah, more lefties mad at me, and then put the phone down. But now it's like you went out of your way to be like, and hey, I just saw this because I got tagged in it. At Bernie's cat, at Bernie's fucking cat. How fucking dare you? How dare you say I was lenient on him?
think that's what he's watching? Or do you think he lives in his own little bubble where everyone around him and all the news that he's consuming indicates that the IDF is the most moral army in the world? So that's the issue, that I didn't say he was.
Well, yeah, but then this is justifying what Ben Shapiro says as well, then. It's like, well, do you think he's a liar, or do you think that he's in a conservative bubble? It's an echo chamber where they all actually just bounce off each other all the time. They're actually kind of living in a different world than you, and at the end of the day, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. It's really hard to tell. Only he'll truly know in his heart of hearts if he's lying or not. But, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I think the real villain here is Bernie's cat.
Lying. Okay, fine, he's lying. Do you feel better? I can't take this crap anymore, seriously. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore.
If you think,
unbelievable.
And sometimes I get called Zionist on social media and stuff. If you think we're not sufficiently tough on Israel, you've lost your mind and you don't realize.
Watch something else. Watch anything.
Don't respond to Bernie's cat, you know? I think people, especially people who are TYT fans and subscribers, they are looking and hoping that you, with a much bigger platform, much bigger voice, much bigger account, much bigger everything than at Bernie's cat, are going to be using these platforms to be able to, again, push back against these monsters and not be like, you know, if we were to give them the benefit of the doubt, he's probably misinformed, something to that effect. He's actively spreading propaganda to again normalize a genocide that is taking place. And yes, both of them are calling it a genocide and doing a great job of reporting on that. No one took issue with that. I just think it's absurd, of all things, to get this angry at. Why aren't we this mad at Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood. With additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.